Welcome to Pammie Plus Parks. I am Pammie, your plus size fairy godmother, bringing you all the magic Disney and Florida has to offer plus size people. Oh, and Universal Studios too. Welcome to our live chat. It is Thursday, January 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're watching us at that day and time, you are watching us live. If you're watching any other day or time, it is pre-recorded, but it is still fresh. I want to thank you very much for joining us for our live chat this week. This week's live chat centers around Disney's new Skyliner. That's going to be opening in fall of 2019, and lots of people have lots of questions. There's a lot of speculation out there. There's a lot of facts, and there's a lot of fiction. So I'm hoping to kind of cut through all the facts and fiction and tell you exactly what to expect, especially from the point of view of someone who is a plus size person or somebody who has accessibility or mobility concerns. So I definitely want to address that with you tonight. Now, if you've never joined us for a live chat before, let me share with you a little bit of what to expect. The program is usually about an hour long, depending on how much you guys want to chat. And we start off with a little update on what's going on with Pammie Plus Parks on Facebook, Pammie Plus Parks on YouTube. And I generally give you a little personal life update too, because y'all like to know what's going on with my personal business. So I like to share that with you as well. And then we'll get right into the hot topic of the day, which is the Skyliner. And then if there's any time left over at the end, we will do like a little open forum discussion. We'll talk about anything you guys want to talk about. But again, we do try to keep it to an hour or less, because I know you guys have to get back to your lives and do your thing. I do want to thank you guys for joining us live, and let me see here if I can connect with all the folks who are chatting with us live right now. Hang on one second. Let's get connected. Let's see if we can get you all hooked up here so I can look at your actual chats live. Here we go. Almost there. Thanks for your patience. All right, let's see who's joining us this evening. Oh, you guys are already at it. Buddy, do you mind if I add you as a moderator for this chat? I know I'm going to add Christina here. Hang on. Let's see. So I am adding moderators to this chat because our chats have been going crazy lately, and you guys have been really amazing with getting in here and like contributing. It's really fantastic. And the moderators kind of help me stay on track and make sure I don't miss anybody's chats, and they get rid of any comments in here that are not appropriate for our audience. But I want to say hi to Buddy. Buddy is one of our moderators, and of course Christina is here as well. She is another one of our moderators. She will be helping guiding the chat as we go along, and maybe even helping answer questions as we go along too, in case I miss any. Hi Amy, it's good to see you, Amy. Frankie's here as well from Maine. Thank you, Frankie. I love the ears too. They are new. I just got them. See, I've got a new addiction with the ears now. You guys got me started. Hi Noelle. Hi Karen. Sin is staying at the Pop in November and super curious about the Skyliner for sure. That's Cindy. Okay, Sin, we will go ahead and let you know more about that a little later in the chat as we move forward. Hi, Caleb. Sharon's here. It's good to see you too, as well as Mary, Andy, Jenny. Oh, we got the Andersons loving life. Is that you, Stacy? Hi, good to see you. Hi, Becky. Thank you guys for joining us live. And for those of you who are watching this chat after the live chat is over and it's been posted as a video, thank you as well for joining. If you're here in the live chat, make sure you make use of the live chat. Jump in there, add your comments and questions. And if you want to make sure that your question or comment is highlighted and I have a better opportunity to answer it, make use of Super Chat, and you can contribute a small amount to Pammie Plus Parks, and depending on how much you contribute to the channel, your question or comment will sit at the top of my chat window and make it a little easier for me to respond to your comment or question. And if you're here watching this after the live chat is posted, please feel free to make a contribution to Pammie Plus Parks using the PayPal account. The link is down below in the description, and that's free for anyone to use, even if you're chatting live. And I do have a financial goal this month. I have $80 more to go until I'm able to purchase a post office box. You guys have been asking me to have a post office box for you to send cards and letters to, and I love getting postcards and stuff like that and seeing pictures of your trips. So I will be getting a post office box. And I am almost at the point where I've saved enough to just pay for it outright for the year. Shelly's in upstate New York waiting for a big snowstorm. You gotta stay safe up there. And Donna's going to Epcot tomorrow to get the Figment magnet. Oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I were doing that, but I'll be at work. Alan says, Kathy and Alan are new to your channel. Very helpful tips. Well, I'm so glad, Alan, that you guys have been finding the tips helpful. That is awesome. I do want to apologize to you guys. The lighting in here this evening is a little different because I am missing one light. This evening, I am not feeling my best. I'm a little off kilter. I'm running a little bit behind, and I thought, you know what? It's better just to get the live chat up and running than to worry about the lights. I even have one light in here that's pointed in the wrong direction, but you can still see me, so that's what matters. Linda says she's on her way home from work in Oregon. I love what you do, Pammie. Thank you. Even if I never get back to Disney World. Well, I certainly hope you do, and I hope we have enough content in here that helps just bring a bit of brightness to your life, a little uplift, a little encouragement. I like to make sure there's enough content here and enough variety that people will continue to watch even after their vacations. Not just because I want you to watch after your vacations, but because you've been on vacation to Walt Disney World or Universal Studios or some theme park or some traveling, and you have some wisdom to share with people. So I want you to stick around and share your thoughts and feelings of your travel and your experiences, and you can do that in the Pammie Plus Parks Facebook group or here in YouTube. And by the way, Linda, if you're watching us on your way home from work, I hope you're on a bus or in a cab or something, or listening to us in the car rather than actually watching. Oh my goodness, be safe. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Jenny. That's so generous of you. Jenny contributed about $5.50. Let me make that less than $80. Thank you so much. You're helping me towards that $80 that I need more in order to be able to get a post office box. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. And I hope you will send me a card or a letter once that post office box is in place. Hey, Candace, good to see you. All right, let's see. Shelly is telling Karen she hopes she's got her emergency French toast supplies for the big storm that's coming up. That's so awesome. That is fantastic. All right, guys, let's get started. We usually do this program in 3 parts. I start off with an update on what's going on in the Facebook group and YouTube and my life, and let's get kicked off with that. So with Facebook, the Facebook group is growing really, really, really quickly, and I'm super excited about that. And as we grow, we make adjustments. And one of those adjustments that I've been making is to the actual guidelines. I've kind of like tweaked them a little bit to suit our needs a little bit better. So if you are a member of Pammie Plus Parks on Facebook, and it's been a while since you read the guidelines, go ahead and check them out again. If you have any questions or concerns about the guidelines, please make sure to go up into the section. It's near the top of the page where it's a navy blue box, and it says send message. Click on that and send us a message on Facebook, or write to us at pammieplusparks@gmail.com. That email link and address is down below in the description. Also want to just make a mention too that part of what we do as we move forward, when I add the moderators later this month, our moderators will be assisting me as the group grows bigger and bigger. We're just going to continue to work towards making sure everything that's posted inside the Pammie Plus Parks Facebook group is G-rated, family-friendly, that it's positive, encouraging, uplifted, and that it's part of what contributes to us being a trusted resource for plus-size people and people with accessibility and mobility concerns, so that they can get the information they need and ask the questions that they need and share knowledge and experience with each other as it relates to travel for plus size people and people with accessibility concerns. So sometimes we have things slip in, some fashion stuff, some stuff that's related to theme parks, but as long as your post has to do with travel in some way, shape, or form, or people navigating life who are plus size or have accessibility concerns, we try to keep that in there because we know that will benefit the community as a whole. Moving on to YouTube. YouTube, we have had over 250 new subscribers in the last 2 weeks. It's amazing. I don't know what's going on, if people are snowed in and you guys are watching YouTube and getting hooked on Pammie+Parks, but I'm really glad to have you here. I am so excited. And again, I'm going to be adding moderators to these live chats going forward to help us keep the live chats moving along smoothly. And I do try to respond to every comment or question that comes up, but I can't always do it in the live chat because they are getting to be very quick and fast paced, but I will do my very best for you. And let's move on to my life updates. I want to share with you guys what's going on in my life outside of Disney, or that may even be Disney related. This past weekend, Mark and I went and did something we had never done before, and we had a breakfast at a resort. We had the Supercalifragilistic Character Buffet breakfast at 1900 Park Fair, which is a little restaurant that's located inside of the Grand Floridian Resort at Walt Disney World. And it was amazing. It was so good. I've heard over and over again from people that the Supercalifragilistic breakfast at 1900 Park Fair is the best one that there is. And I don't know yet because I haven't been to all of them, and maybe someday I will. But boy, oh boy, did we have a great experience. We arrived very late for our reservation because of traffic due to the marathon that was happening this weekend. We only gave ourselves an extra half hour, and we really needed to give ourselves an extra 2 hours to drive from the Tampa Bay area. Once we got on property, it took us an hour and 30 minutes to get to our location. That's after we already drove an hour and a half, so it took about 3 hours for us to get to the restaurant. But even though we arrived late, they got us a table right away. The food was fantastic. The character interactions were great. We got to meet Mary Poppins, Winnie the Pooh. Who else? We got to meet, Alice and the Mad Hatter. We had the best experience with them. And then after our meal was over, we got to have pictures with Tigger. And, I'll tell you something, as a couple without children, a lot of times when we go to character meals, they kind of brush past us or gloss over or make it really quick, get your pictures and move on. And they don't really sit and take time to talk with you and interact because you don't have children. And they have a limited amount of time. So of course they're going to go to a table that has more people at it and children, and make sure those people who spent tons and tons and tons of money have a really good experience. So I completely understand that. But I greatly appreciate it when the characters take their time at your table and they give you great service even though you're just two people. And that's what they did. So I definitely highly recommend that. If you're looking for a good breakfast spot or a character meal, that was a wonderful one. Let's go ahead and check in with you guys. I see you guys have got like lots more chats that you're doing before we jump into the main topic. So let's get in there. Oh my goodness, Frankie says she has sub-zero temperatures in Maine. Holy cow, you guys. Oh, Linda's listening to us. She's not watching us while she's driving home. Thank goodness. Let's see here. Kelsey says, I'm finally joining live instead of watching later. Much love from cold, snowy Indiana. Well, hello. Thank you for joining us live. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. Tiffany says, I watch on YouTube. This is my first time hearing about your Facebook page. Yes, I try to make sure people know about it because it's such a great way for you to get questions answered, because we have, I think, over 1,300 members now in the group, and it's just a really great resource, a great place to go to get your questions answered. And whenever I have insights, I try to answer them. But it can be tough for me, like if you're emailing me directly or if you're sending me a message directly on Facebook, for me to answer your question. You can get a lot more answers a lot quicker if you're a member of the Facebook group. Becky says, so sorry for our northern neighbors. I was in Massachusetts until I was 13. In Orlando, we have wind chills in the 20s this Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be chilly for us. Frankie does says she loves the 1900 Park Fair breakfast. She says it's the best egg benedicts and love the strawberry soup. I love the strawberry soup too. It's kind of like a liquefied version of a strawberry shortcake cake. I really thought it tasted very shortcake like in a way. It was very delicious. Now I didn't have the eggs benedict though. There were too many other things to enjoy. Alan says sad that the flight of passage ride can't be done with those large legs. My wife Kathy couldn't get locked in after trying due to her leg size. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Alan. I had a similar situation. It was my thighs that couldn't go past underneath them. So, that's the way it is for now. Who knows? Maybe in a few more years when they do their big renovation for the ride, maybe they'll make adjustments to the seats or something like that. So you never know. Christina says she had a similar issue when she tried the ride. Unfortunately, I had issues with the restraint for my left calf. I've heard they are working on modifying the restraints. I mean, I can't tell you anything officially, but I do know, and I have heard from people who are cast members, that they have tracked the stats of the number of people who can't ride because of fit. They aren't tracking like who's overweight and who's too tall and who's too short. They're not tracking that. They're just tracking in general how many people are not able to fit. And they found that it's right around the 20% mark. It's about 82% who are able to fit. And they want to make it as close to 100% as they possibly can. And there's probably going to be some efforts made to adjust those seats or take some of the seats out and put some modified seats in. So we'll see what happens, because it's not just plus size people, but it's people who are very muscular, people who are adults of short stature, and people with certain mobility concerns with their legs, their knees, their calves, that also have issues. Walt Disney World sock puppet reviews. I love your channel. It's so cute. Go visit WDW Sock Puppet Reviews. Adorable. So glad to finally catch the live chat. Thank you for doing these, Pammie. You are welcome, and I love your videos. Keep doing them. They're super cute. I love them. They're so much fun. Let's see. Looks like you guys, a lot of you are getting snow. Kelsey, MJ, you guys are all getting snow. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys stay warm. Sharon is saying about Flight of Passage, must be the cherry on top ride of all rides. One day I'll find out why everyone wants to ride it. I don't know. I've heard people say that it's very much like Soarin'. It's just in a different chair and it's 3D. So the only differences are the seat that you're sitting on and that you have 3D glasses. So I don't know. I mean, some people say that they were overwhelmed and they cried afterwards because it was so amazing. And then other people are like, yeah, it was okay. It wasn't worth waiting in line for 2 or 3 hours. It was all right. Just to each their own, I guess. If I don't ever get to ride it, I'll tell you this much. I don't care. There's so many other great things to do at Disney. Oh, I do want to tell you a couple other quick things that happened in my personal life that you might find interesting. The last couple times we did live chats, I gave you recommendations of things to watch on Netflix. Well, we didn't really watch anything on Netflix this week. We were very busy. We were out and about this weekend. But one thing we watch almost every day, for a little bit, we at least watch one episode a day, is The Goldbergs, and that's on Hulu. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched that show. We caught a couple of episodes here and there when the show first came on, and then we just never had the time to sit and watch it. But now that it's streaming, we're able to watch it whenever we want to. And Mark and I both think it's the funniest show ever, because it takes place in the 1980s, but it's sort of vague, the fashions and the pop culture references and the music and the storylines all kind of seem to meld from 1981 to 1993-ish. So if you grew up anytime in that era, you will find this show particularly hysterical. It is so funny. It's such a cute show. And they have a spinoff now called Schooled, featuring one of the characters from the Goldbergs. And we watched the first 2 episodes of that. And actually the first episode. We're getting ready to watch the second episode. I love that show too. It's really good as well. So I definitely recommend them if you want some lighthearted fare, something that's really hysterical. That's a great show. And if you guys have any like recommendations for good shows or movies to stream, let me know because I'd like to know. And one more thing that's sort of Disney related because it relates to my cats who are named Jack and Sally. We had a chicken debacle today. That's one of the other things that kind of had me off kilter. I had to go pick something up for dinner on the way home because, this morning I put some chicken in the sink to thaw. And I put like a ton of water in there, and I put this chicken on the bottom of the sink, and then I filled up a giant pitcher, a stainless steel pitcher of water, and I put it on top of the chicken so that the cats couldn't get at it and they wouldn't want to get through the water and everything to get to it so the chicken could thaw. Well, it didn't take very long. I wasn't out the door 15 minutes, and Mark called me to let me know that Jack had knocked over the pitcher, and the two of them, Jack and Sally, fished the chicken out of the sink, dragged it across the kitchen, and then those two, along with Abraham and Penny, were doing like a Wild Kingdom face-off over the package of chicken, fighting to the death. Well, they weren't really fighting, but they're like making noises at each other and stuff over who was going to get the package of chicken. So that's what happened to my dinner that I was going to make tonight. My cats, I don't know, they went crazy. Has anybody ever had that happen? Have you ever had a cat take a 1-pound block of frozen chicken and drag it all over the kitchen and then fight over it? My cats are crazy, y'all. They're crazy. 4 cats is too many cats. I love them all and I'm not getting rid of them, but that's a lot of cats. This is the antics they get up to when you have that many cats. A lot of you guys are chatting about your football teams. Oh my. Christina says, the Goldbergs take place in Willow Grove, which is a few towns over from where I live, and the mall they reference and show pictures of from the outside is my mall. Christina, is that mall still open? I totally want to go there if it is. I might have to come visit you and go shopping. Let's see. William Jenkins is asking about the Skyliner. Is it going to have AC in it? You know what? I should just jump right into that. Let's see. Tiffany says she has 11 cats and is not a crazy cat lady. Really? You are not even a crazy cat lady? Because I feel my cats are making me crazy. I was fine before I got them, but now I'm crazy because of them. WDW Sock Puppet has 8 cats. Oh my gosh, you guys. That's a lot of cats. I don't know how you do it. Oh, you have an excellent Torrid at your mall, Christina, so I might have to come up there and visit for sure. Sharon is saying that's funny, cats fighting over chicken and they couldn't open it. Oh, they got it open. That's why we aren't able to eat it, because they got the package open and we're like fighting over it. They didn't quite pull it out of the package yet, but they got there. All right, let's jump into the Skyliner. We could talk forever about our personal lives here, and I know what you're really here for is the Skyliner information. So here's a few facts about the Skyliner that I was able to dig up directly from Disney. The Skyliner has 6 miles of cable. It will have 5 loading stations. It will serve 4 resorts. There are going to be 3 separate gondola lines, and it will connect 2 parks to each other. And it opens in fall of 2019. Fall in Florida is basically really, I know for most people fall starts in like September or something and it goes through like November. But for us, fall kind of starts in November and goes to the beginning of January. I don't know if we even really have a fall, but according to Walt Disney World, fall can be as late as December. So we don't know exactly when this is going to open. It could be September, October, November. It may even be December. I know the goal of the Skyliner is to have it open in time for some of the attractions that are going to be opening in the different parks, like Ratatouille and Guardians of the Galaxy over at Epcot. And they want it open before they open up the Star Wars land in Hollywood Studios. So, hopefully it'll be open before then because they need to handle all that traffic. So let me go over the resorts that it will serve. It is confirmed that it will serve the Art of Animation, will be one of the pickup drop-off points. Then it moves on to the Pop Century Resort. And from there, it goes to Caribbean Beach. And Caribbean Beach is kind of like a hub where it can take off and go to Epcot, or it can go to Animal Kingdom. So that's kind of like the main hub place where you can cross over and go to different parks and different resorts from there. And then from there, it will also service the Riviera Resort. And the two parks that will be served are Hollywood Studios and Epcot, which I imagine, because of the two new attractions opening at Epcot, Ratatouille and Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole new Star Wars Land and the Mickey's Runaway Railway ride that will open at Hollywood Studios, they're going to get a lot of traffic there. So they're going to need a little extra transportation. Some people ask me if the opening of the Skyline means that once the Skyliner's open, they'll stop doing buses. No, that is not true. They will continue to do buses even though they have the Skyliner. The Skyliner is in addition to the existing transportation system. So it will not replace transportation. So Epcot, how Epcot has the friendship boats that go to the boardwalk, resorts, and Swan and Dolphin, those will continue. They will also have Skyliner service there too. So, you know, they'll have even more resorts able to get access to Epcot. So you're not going to see any diminishing of the boat service or anything like that. It's just going to be in addition to it. I want to tell you a little bit about the designs of the gondolas. Those are the actual little ride capsules that you get into. They've released a couple of the ideas of what the designs will look like, but they could change seasonally. They're able to change the exterior skin of the outside of the gondolas to update them and have a variety of different characters. But the ones that have been unveiled so far by Disney are a red gondola with Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, a purple gondola with Beauty and the Beast, a blue gondola with Haunted Mansion, and a green gondola that is themed with Goofy. So one thing that's interesting about these gondolas is that once you're inside of them, even though there's a character skin or design on the windows, you can still see out of them past them. Much like when you see those cars on the road that have the wraps around them and the wraps go all around the windows and everything and the driver can see through them. Same sort of situation with the skins that are on the outside of these gondolas. People will be able to see out of them and see outside. Have your camera ready, get ready to take some great photos and footage. You're going to see a lot of cool stuff outside of those windows. The other thing that is interesting about it that you can't see, that's a hidden feature, is that the glass is a mirror finish. I don't know if you've ever seen windows where it's almost like sunglasses, how you have the sunglasses that have the mirror finish on the outside. You can see out of them, but people can't see into the glasses. That's what it's really going to be like. Underneath those Disney designs that you see are like one-way mirror glass. And what that does is it darkens the inside of the interior of the cabin a little bit to make it a little cooler. And it also, the mirror, reflects the sun away from it and keeps it cooler inside. Now, it appears that there's two panels of glass at the front of the gondola and two panels of glass at the back of the gondola. And between the spaces of the panels of glass, there's like open space where air can pass through. Now, the glass panels that I'm speaking of are at the front and the back of the gondola as it travels forward. So as the gondola travels forward, the air will pass through the little, actually, I don't know if you can see, the air will pass through the panes of glass in one side and out the other, causing a natural flow of air. So you're not going to have any air conditioning in these gondolas. That's what's going to keep you cool, is the natural flow of air around the panels of glass and the actual glass itself keeping you cool. And a lot of people are like, I don't see how this is going to work. How can they have these and not have them air conditioned? Well, I can tell you this, from years and years and years of experience of riding the monorail, The monorail, the air conditioning in it doesn't work at all for about 30% of the time that you're on it throughout the summer. They may have like a circulating fan on in there on one end and the other end of each monorail car, but the air condition goes out all the time on those things, and you can't really open the windows. You can, in an emergency situation, pop the window panels out completely. Like if it gets stopped and it gets really hot in there, they can pop the panels out. But with the Skyliner, that won't be necessary because there'll always be airflow as the Skyliners move through the air. And you might be thinking, well, what if it stops? What if it stalls? Well, here's the thing that's different. The monorail can have different mechanical issues and stuff that go wrong with it. But the only thing that would stop the Skyliner system from moving would be a total loss of power. In order for the Skyliner to lose power like that, the entire Walt Disney World property would have to lose power. And here's the thing. Walt Disney World functions on its own power grid, and they have a massive backup system for all their power. Tons of backup generators. So the likelihood of the Skyliners completely losing power would be extremely slim. Very, 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 very slim. So it looks like they're probably going to continue with these Skyliners. They have confirmed, spokesperson from Disney confirmed to the Orlando Sentinel that there are no interior air conditioners in these gondolas. So I am interested to see how those will be. I know for a fact that I am able to ride the monorail even when the air conditioning isn't working, and those little fans at either end really aren't very sufficient at all. I feel like the airflow system they have set up in this, and the fact that they have all the special mirrored tinted glass and the special design of the gondola, is going to make it a lot more comfortable than the monorail is during the summer. So we'll see. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see. You guys are chatting with each other, which is cute. Let's see. I think people are starting to ask, how fast is this thing? It actually moves at 16 miles per hour. So it moves pretty quickly. You guys are asking about how you board and exit and that sort of thing. So let's see. Christina says, I've heard that it's actually not healthy to go from extreme heat to extreme air-conditioned cold. May actually be safer to go on and off when it's really warm for that reason. I don't know. I've lived in Florida my whole life and gone in and out from cold and hot and not really had a problem with it. So I don't know if there's any validity to that. But I can tell you that the monorail air conditioner is not very cool at all. I mean, even when it is working, it's not working. You're still dying of heat inside there. So Tiffany's asking if there's a map of the route somewhere. Yes, all you have to do is just Google Disney Skyliner map and you'll have tons of images come up for it. Let's see. How about people in wheelchairs if the ride stops? How they get out? They can't use ladders. Haha! That's our next part that we'll get to here. Let's see. I have more information for you. In case you are wondering what they call that ventilation system with the windows and everything with the air rushing through, they call it passive ventilation. I call it broken air conditioner, but they call it passive ventilation. So hopefully that system will work. Before I move on, I do want to tell you a couple more things about the interior of the gondola. There are 2 benches in the gondolas, and each bench can sit about 4 adult people. Those benches are able to fold up against the walls so they can fit more people in there. When the benches are down, there's still space in the center for wheelchairs, ECVs, and strollers. Just like, it's kind of like, you know how the monorail car has 4 benches total, and it has 2 sets of doors opening to it? The gondola has 1 set of door opening, 1 set of doors closing, 2 benches. So it's almost like half of a monorail car. And how the monorails have in the center, the areas where you can hang onto the poles, you can put your stroller, your ECV, they have the same sort of amount of space. The only difference with the gondola is that when you fold the benches up, you can fit 16 people standing. So that's kind of interesting. They'll actually be able to fit more people in there. So, and there is room for ECVs, wheelchairs, other mobility devices, strollers, you name it. While you're on the gondola, inside the gondola, there is going to be music and there's going to be audio voice instruction. So those who have sight impairment and can't see where they are going to or see what station they're at, you will be able to hear what station you're at because the stations will be announced, because there are so many stations. When you talk about having 2 resorts and 4 hotels and like a 5th docking station in between, I mean, you're talking about, what is that, 2 plus 5, 7 I can add 7, 8, 9 different spots where it will stop. You're going to need audio announcements to tell you where you are, because even if you are fully sighted, you still might not know where you are, because then if that's the case, you're just like me, because even though I can see everything, I don't know where I am half the time. Okay, let's talk about accessibility a little further. So, as you may have already heard, the Skyliner moves at 16 miles an hour, but as it approaches the boarding stations, it slows down to 1 mile per hour. And as it slows through the station, it's slow enough that they open the doors up on one side and everybody exit. They open on the doors on the other side and everyone enters. So it's slow enough that they can have people enter. The other thing that is good to know is that the gondola, the floor of the gondola and the platform are even to each other. So you know how on the monorail you have to have a ramp placed in order to be able to get from the platform into the monorail? According to what I've heard from inside sources, semi-confirmed sources, that platform is even with the floor of the interior of the gondola, so you should be able to just roll right in with a stroller, wheelchair, ECV, or mobility device. So that is good to know. Now, what if you can't get on while the thing's going 1 mile an hour? What if you have a mobility issue that is one where you cannot walk that quickly, or you need to have something stable and steady? Aha! This is not confirmed, not for sure. But from what I've heard from an inside source, it's semi-confirmed. Apparently the way they've designed the Skyliner is the Skyliners come in one after the other. One can break off in one direction where it will board people at a pace of 1 mile an hour. And another one that follows it can break off and go to a separate boarding area where it can completely stop to allow those who have mobility concerns that won't allow them to be able to just jump on the thing while it's going 1 mile an hour. So they will have gondolas that will be able to stop. Not 100% confirmed. There has been no spokesperson from Disney who announced this, but this is something I've heard from semi-confirmed inside information, that they want to make sure that they make these gondolas accessible to everybody, and apparently they're supposed to be able to have one of them peel off from the line, stop completely, allow people to board and exit, and then once everybody's boarded on it safely, it starts moving again and it goes back into the gondola line when there's a break between gondolas. So apparently that is how that's going to work. I'm really excited to see that in action, because I think there are people who have mobility who are able to walk on their 2 feet without any assistance from any devices, but they may have vertigo, or they may be elderly, they may be recovering from a surgery or an injury, and they may not be able to walk onto a vehicle that's going 1 mile an hour. I have a personal theory that is not confirmed by anyone. I am wondering if you will, this is a curiosity, total speculation, I'm wondering if they have a moving platform, a moving sidewalk that you step onto that moves at the same pace as the vehicle, so you can board. Just like you would for, Haunted Mansion or Little Mermaid, or any of those rides like Peter Pan that has a moving sidewalk, that you just get on the moving sidewalk and it moves at the same rate as the gondola, making it easier for you to get on. I'm wondering if that's something that they have in place. It seems like it would make sense. I don't know for sure if that's what they've got, but I wonder if that is the case. That is a curiosity I have. Another bit of speculation for you as far as the Skyliner system goes. I believe that they will expand it. They have the land to do it, they have the ability to do it. I am wondering and curious if they will possibly expand service to include the Animal Kingdom resorts and Animal Kingdom itself. I wonder if it is something they will try to. It would be very tricky for them because they don't want to build the Skyliner through the property where the animals are because they don't want to disturb them. But you guys may already know they shut down the railroad car that goes out to Rafiki Planet. And Rafiki's Planet, that area is completely closed now too. What if that becomes a substation and maybe they have the Skyliner service just outside of the area of Animal Planet, and maybe you take a train from there back into the Animal Kingdom Park? That way you're not disturbing the animals, because that's the thing, they don't want to disturb that wonderful wildlife sanctuary area that they have to take care of the animals who live there. They don't want to disturb their way of life. So you would either have to have the Skyliner system come through the parking lot and drop at the front of the park, which I don't think they have the land to do, or it will have to come up at the back of the park, drop on the outside of the back of the park, and maybe take a train or other transportation into the park. Purely speculation on my part. I have no idea. And then I wonder also if they will maybe have the Skyliner serve like the water parks like Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon, or maybe Coronado Springs Resort, and maybe have it serve more resorts so people can get from resort to resort and do a little resort hopping for dinner reservations, or even hop on over to the water parks. I think that would be something that would be really cool too. Let's see if you guys have any questions about what's going on. Kelsey says, does it say anything about what they're going to do when it thunderstorms? That's a great question. When they had a Skyline system inside of Magic Kingdom, growing up when I was a kid all the way through to the 1990s, if there was lightning, they would stop it. If it was really bad downpour and lightning, it would stop. It would pause service. I don't know if that's the case with this one, if they'll do that, because that Skyliner had open sides. There were no windows to it, so you would get drenched inside of it. So I don't know. The gondolas they have for the Skyliner this time around are larger, and they have windows to protect from the rain, so maybe not. Also, the way that the Skyliner system is set up, it is set up so that if lightning strikes, it is completely deflected away from the area, so the chances of it damaging with lightning and so forth are slim to none. So I don't know, I'm interested to see what they plan to do with that. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. William asked, how about people in wheelchairs? If the ride stops, how will they get out? They can't use ladders. That's in an emergency situation. One of the things that they've done with the whole Skyliner line is they have built a roadway underneath the Skyliner the entire way so that emergency vehicles can reach the Skyliner at all points. William, I believe that they have a number of different methods of getting someone who is in a mobility device out of a situation like that, whether it's different sort of cots, or I'm trying to think, like a hammock and slings. There's all kinds of different devices that they can use to help people get out of a gondola if something like that happens. Remember, the doors are basically floor to ceiling doors, so they'll be able to open all the way up. They'll have a wide berth to get in there to get people out if they need to. So it should be okay. Let's see. Yes, Cindy, the gondolas are much bigger than you might have imagined. If you ever have been to Disney before, if you've been to Busch Gardens, where they have the little like Skyliner gondolas that maybe sit two people on each side, yeah, this is a completely different animal. These are much, much bigger. So they can hold up to 16 adults. Tiffany says, only useful route is Epcot to Hollywood Studios. I guess I will never ride this. Well, I mean, a lot of people would disagree with you, because if it's going from Art of Animation and Pop Century and taking you to Epcot or Hollywood Studios, that could be very, very helpful. For myself, if I were staying in one of those resorts and I didn't want to take a bus and I just wanted to do something different, I might take, if I was staying in Pop Century, I might take the Skyliner over to Epcot, spend a little time in Epcot, and then take the monorail over to Magic Kingdom. It's going to allow you to hop back and forth to a bunch of different parks a little easier. So I think that's great. But I do find it unusual that it's connecting Hollywood Studios and Epcot to one another, and they're already connected by the boat system. But this will, I guess, alleviate some of the park hopping back and forth because Epcot will have 2 new major rides, and Hollywood Studios is going to have it's going to have 3 new major rides there. So people will hop back and forth between those parks a lot more than they have in the past. And I think it's important to have that extra transportation in place. Kelsey says, sounds like claustrophobia and sweaty smells waiting to happen. I hope I'm wrong. Well, that's how I feel about the monorail when I get on that. I much prefer to take the ferry simply because the air conditioning is never working in the middle of the summer on the monorail. It's just those little fans, and even when it is on, it's not very good. To me, the monorail smells like Band-Aids and diapers. I don't know why. It just smells like a wet diaper and Band-Aids. And then, of course, all the sweaty people that are on there, including myself. So, yeah, I've never found the monorail to be that great to ride on because to me, it smells weird and it feels weird. It seems very old-fashioned to me. I don't know. Some people love the monorail. Let's see. Tiffany says, I assume even the 1 mile gondola, it has a moving walkway with it, like Haunted Mansion, People Mover, etc. That is, yeah, you said great minds. Mine sounds like, yeah, I think that's probably what it's going to be like to make it easier to board. I'm not sure, though. I have no confirmation on that. But it's just something I'm speculating on. It only makes sense. What are you going to do? Have people like jog next to it and hop onto it, or like stroll very quickly next to it and hop onto it? I think it would make sense to have a moving walkway that matches the speed of it. Becca says, I don't think they're getting rid of Rafiki's Planet Watch. I heard they're just doing it up. Yeah. And that might be the case for now, but they may be making some preliminary stuff to it to get it ready. I'm just saying that if it were me, and it's not me, but I would consider, that would be something I would consider. If they don't do it now, they might do it years from now. We'll see. It might be something that happens as an expansion, not in the next few years, but maybe in like 5 or 6 years. It's a possibility of something that could happen. Kelsey says, that gives me some peace of mind about being trapped in the air in thunderstorms. Yeah, I think if it were really a bad storm and winds and stuff like that, they wouldn't have you ride on it, but I think you're actually going to be okay, even if there is a thunderstorm. Elizabeth is asking, did you go back to Animal Kingdom to ride Flight of Passage? I have not been able to get a fast pass for that ride at all. And, I'm just going to have to try to go there. I'm not going to rope drop it because people go, oh, rope drop and you'll be out of it in 45 minutes. Yeah, but you wait 2 hours before you get in the... If you get there an hour early and then you go run and you sit and you wait for half an hour and then you get there and then you have a 45-minute wait. So it ends up being 2.5 hours anyhow. So it doesn't really matter when you go. You're going to wait 2.5 hours. So either I'll have to bite the bullet and just wait the 2.5 hours or try to get a fast pass. And the reason why I'm trying to get a fast pass, you guys, I live in the Tampa Bay area, so it's like a 2-hour drive to get there and a 2-hour drive back. And I try to stay in the park for 6 hours and make 4 to 6 videos while I'm there. So it's like a good 12-hour, sometimes 14-hour day, depending on traffic and what I'm able to accomplish. So to spend 2 hours or 3 hours of that day just standing in line, to me, is really tough when I could be making a bunch of other videos for you guys. So, I might just have to sacrifice a whole day and just spend one whole day doing that one thing and maybe make 1 or 2 other videos before going home. But I can tell you this, at my height, 5'4", I have not heard of a single person my height being able to go on that ride that did not weigh 320 pounds or less. And I weigh 350 pounds. I think my chances of being able to fit on the ride at 350 pounds are nil. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit. I'll go on it again for you guys just to have another experience and see what it's like now that it's been about a year, a little over a year, maybe 1.5 years since I last tried to ride it. See what's changed. See if the cast members have changed their attitudes, if you're treated differently, anything like that. And try to find out what I can find out for you. But I already know I'm not going to fit, so. I think we are starting to devolve into like an open forum chat right now where we're just chatting about any old thing. But if you guys have any other questions about the Skyliner service, let me know because I might have more information to share with you. We have Mr. Fulton and Ms. Caitlin Mraz. What about the Star Wars, The Rise of the Resistance for Hollywood Studios? And what about Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway Ride? What about it? I'm happy to answer any questions that I can. If you're specific about your questions, it makes it a little more easier for me to answer them. I'm not sure what you want to know about those rides. I'll tell you what I know right now as far as the vehicles go for Galaxy's Edge. It looks like a vehicle setup of like 2 to 3, is it 2 to 4 seats across? It looks like they are seat belts, okay, that you pull out. Disney seat belts are super, super long. That's great. It looks like there's no dividers between the seats, so they look like they will be very plus size friendly. It looks like the openings to get on the rides are nice and wide, making it easier for people who have mobility concerns to get on. It looks like there's no lap bar and no overhead restraint. So it looks like it's just a plain old regular Disney seatbelt, which are usually very friendly to people of all sizes and mobilities. As far as the Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway Ride, there is a similar ride, I believe, in Disneyland Paris, and it has a lap bar, a shared lap bar for a party of, I believe, up to 4 people. I don't know what the car design is for this. It's purely speculation because I've not seen any plans for it or anything, but it looks like it will be accommodating to people of many different sizes and shapes and shouldn't be an issue for people who are plus size. But going back to Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the other ride, which I can't remember the name of it, for the Millennial Falcon, that ride has, each pod has 4 seats in it, and they are individual seats. I don't know what the restraints are. I assume they are seat belts. And if they're anything like the seat belts that they have for Test Track, where they're, chest harnesses, or seat belts that they have for any of the other that are lap seat belts, it should be very accommodating for people of many different sizes, shapes, and mobilities. I think that they're all going to be plus size and accessibility friendly. I hope that answers any of your questions that you have. Becky says, sounds like the cabs at the Eye on the International Drive. Yes, the gondolas do sound like they may be similar in shape to the gondolas that are on the Ferris wheel at the Eye, the Orlando Eye, and like the London Eye, Paris Eye, those types of gondolas. I do think the gondolas for the Skyliner are smaller, but I don't know. I've never been to the Orlando Eye. Will 16 people be able to stand on that? I don't know. Let's see. Kelsey says, we really need something that's connected to Animal Kingdom. There's currently just buses, right? Animal Kingdom needs some love. Yes, there's just buses to Animal Kingdom right now. It is the toughest park to jump to because it takes forever to get the bus there. It's a very long drive. So that's why I'm hoping they do some Skyliner service there, but I'm wanting them to be very mindful of the animals and the habitat that they've created there and to cause as little disruption to their lives as possible. And to be honest with you, I think that's why there's not like different kinds of boat service and things like that. I think they are very mindful of how they run traffic by, around, near that area and how the animals will be affected by that. I think that's a big concern for them, and they're watching out for the animals to the best that they can. So that might be part of why there isn't more stuff that services transportation-wise to Animal Kingdom. Do you think they'll raise the price at Pop Century Resort when the gondola opens? I don't see why not. I imagine prices will go up with demand. The more people demand to stay at that resort and want to go there, the more that they're going to raise the prices. It only makes sense. Elizabeth asked again, hello, did you get back on Flight of Passage? Elizabeth, as I mentioned before, I have not ridden it again because I do not have a fast pass for it yet. And I will do my best to ride it in the future. I'll do what I can. But again, for me, traveling the 2 hour drive up there, 2 hour drive back, that's 4 to 5 hours of my day of driving, and then 2 or 3 hours standing in line, and having that be the only video that I make that day for that ride, knowing at 350 pounds I'm not going to fit on it. It's kind of a waste for me to do it at this point. Maybe down the line, if I lose some more weight, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll just bite the bullet if I have an extra day somewhere in my schedule. If I can take some time off from work, maybe I'll just go up there and just spend the day doing that. But it is kind of a, it's not one that I'm going to have any great insight for you on. I can try it again, but I don't think I will fit it again. Somebody's asking, have you ever gone on the slingshot ride? No. That's not at Disney. I haven't done that. That does not look fun to me. No, I haven't gone on that slingshot ride in Orlando. That might have been something I would have done like 10 years ago, but now that I'm older, that's just like, I'm 48 now, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look like fun. That looks like it would upset my stomach. I don't think so. Let's see, MGH1208 says, have you ever stayed in one of the Disney hotels in the park? Is it worth the expensive price? I haven't. I've never stayed on property ever, ever, ever. I've eaten at the resorts. I've visited friends there. I've spent a lot of time at the resorts, but I've never actually slept in and stayed at a hotel. I can tell you that Mark and I usually, when we stay up there, which is very rare, when we do stay up there, we'll stay at a hotel on iDrive, and we know the back ways to get from iDrive, and we have a hotel that we have stayed at, which I think they changed the name of it now, or I tell you what it is, but there's some hotels down there. If you know the right way to go, you can get from your hotel room door to scanning yourself into the park within 25 minutes. So why would you stay on property when it would take you like 30, 40 minutes to take a bus and all of that? Like, take your own car, and so that's why we don't do it. And we live so close that to us, it's just not worth it to go spend time in a hotel. If we're going to spend money on a hotel room, we're going to go someplace new, someplace different, someplace we've never been to before, and we'll stay in a hotel that way, like when we take a road trip or something. So, it's not something I've done before. I would love to do it, but hi, Christina. Thank you for joining the chat. I would love to do it, but it is very expensive. Mr. Fulton and Ms. Caitlin ask, how much is it to get in the park? I would recommend that you visit WaltDisneyWorld.com and check out the prices. Prices do change depending on what time of year you're going. So when you purchase your ticket, you need to purchase a ticket for the specific dates that you'll be going to the park, because when it is off-peak season, the prices of the tickets are a little bit cheaper. But I believe Magic Kingdom right now is like $109 right now, I think, is the base price. $109 is the lowest price for an adult. I'm not positive. Let's see. Do I anticipate a price increases for the Skyline hotels? I anticipate price hikes on everything going forward when after 2020, once everything starts to really open up, all the new rides, all the new everything, I think it's going to mean more and more people will be on property. The rooms will be in more demand. Tickets will be in more demand. And I believe prices will go up across the board. It's supply and demand. They have to raise, in a way, they have to raise the prices because they'll have more people staying there throughout the year. There won't be any slow season whatsoever, and they'll have to hire more people in order to take better care of the parks, to deal with the extra people in the parks. So they'll have to raise prices in order to hire more staff and train more staff and have more, maintain their level of service. So I think all the prices of everything will go up, I believe. Let's see. Yes, Christina was saying that ticket prices do fluctuate. The best thing, it is the best thing to do is to go to the WaltDisneyWorld.com website, and they will make sure that they show you the prices for everything. Groot, I'm sorry you missed a lot. We're at the very end of the chat, but thank you for joining us. You can go back and rewatch the whole thing very shortly. The Mom Vlog is asking, are you going to the Flower and Garden at Epcot this season? Yes, in fact, I am looking into doing a special activity for that. I have a friend who actually works at that Flower and Garden Festival. She doesn't work for Disney. She has her own business, and she sells her product there during the festival, and she's actually going to be conducting a class, and my plan is to take her class at Epcot and kind of show you what that's like and introduce you to her and her products and stuff like that. So that's something I'm hoping to do this year for Flower and Garden. That's going to be a little extra special. Kelsey asked, do you ever want to go to Disneyland in California? Yes. Groot is asking, when is the best time to go on a cruise? Don't go in September, October. I think if you do that, you're going to find that that is hurricane season, and I would not go on a cruise in the Gulf of Mexico at that time. September, October is the peak of hurricane season, and you never know what will happen with storms. If that's something you want to avoid, I would avoid those 2 months, but they also happen to be some of the cheapest months to go to because everybody knows that. So that's really up to you whether or not you're willing to weather the storms. Now, if you're interested in a Disney cruise, please go visit my friend's Leg Life here on YouTube. Legglife, Leg Life. Adam and Sherry do a fantastic job of covering the Disney cruises. They have another cruise coming up, I think it's February, so just a few weeks away, and I'm hoping, amongst all hopes, that I'll get to connect with them again in the parks. The last time they were here over the summer, or October, I believe it was, actually, I got to meet up with them really quickly when they were in the parks over here, so I hope to do that again. But go visit Leg Life here on YouTube. It's one word, Legglife. They will share all kinds of amazing stuff about their cruises. MGH1208 says, I know this is off topic, but when is your next Dia and Company try-on haul? Are there other plus-size online clothing you would recommend? I actually have a box sitting right over there on the floor that I'm planning to open up and try on this weekend. And over the course of this weekend, I also have another video to edit that I've already shot, in which I show you clothes and accessories from hsn.com, Walmart of all places, Torrid, and Shop Disney. So I'm going to show you things from all of those companies that are plus size. And my favorite plus size store to shop at, besides Dia and Company, my favorite brick and mortar store is Torrid. And I'm actually going to introduce you to a new store in the Tampa Bay area. They have locations in Bradenton, Clearwater, St. Petersburg, and Tampa. Curve Exchange. So I will be working with Curve Exchange to create a video for them introducing you to what clothing resale is and giving you some great ideas of other places, alternate places that you can shop. Maybe you can visit them when you're down here on vacation. You can shop with them through Facebook on their locations on Facebook. You can visit their pages, become members of those groups, and then buy clothes from them that way. I'll show you all the different great ways to really enjoy shopping and finding some alternate ways to shop. Christina loves the clothing videos. I do too, because it's like shopping with you guys. Kelsey says, I just went right past it. My boyfriend and I are officially going on a Disney cruise in November. That's amazing. Do you think we will have to worry about hurricanes? No. I've been binge watching Leg Life, thanks to you, Pammie. Awesome. But yeah, I don't think you have anything to worry about when it comes to that sort of thing with storms, because the storm season will be over in November. It's actually kind of a great time to go. It's not too hot, not too cold. Cindy, thank you so much. Cindy says, always a pleasure to follow you, Pammie. Good luck reaching your post box goal. I'll send you a postcard from Chili Philly. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you for helping to contribute towards that $80 goal I have for this month, to get another $80 in order to be able to get a post office box so I can get cards and letters from you guys. Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate that. Thank you for that super chat. All right, guys, we're getting wound down here. I think that, let's see. Well, we have been chatting for just over an hour, so let's wind it up. You guys have your lives to get back to, and lots of fun, cool, exciting, amazing things. I'm going to take a nice long rest. I thank you all so much for joining us for this live chat. And if you ever have any, thoughts or ideas or things that you want to consider for future live chats, please let me know in the comments. Email me at pammieplusparks@gmail.com. And don't forget to become a member of Pammie Plus Parks on Facebook. That's another great way for us all to interact with one another as a community. I really appreciate your time this evening, and for those of you who are watching after this is posted as a video, thank you for taking the time to watch the live chat as a video. Thanks, guys. Have a fantastic evening. And remember, like I always like to say, life is a roller coaster. Enjoy the ride. Good night, everyone.